all my life, I kind of plan for retirement because if you think about it, when we're little, we actually just have fun. We can be by ourselves. I mean, most people, kids, they read or they color or they have books or they run around, and make, things. So I wanted to get back to that stage inside myself where I didn't need outside stimulation, because when you go to work, that's the end of your personal thinking, for basically those 8 hours. Like you do this, you arrive at a certain place, you look a certain way, you please enough people at work that they keep you coming, and then you have your money, and that's how we live that life. But when it's all over, you have to realize I did, who am I? And that's what I think is the most important thing about retirement, is to find out who you are, like to really take it almost as a meditation. And however long it takes you to get inside yourself and ask yourself that question, who am I? What do I want from life? And how can I achieve those things? You might maybe a whole lifetime in the city, you might all of a sudden realize, gosh, I just want to see birds. I want to be alone, or a simple life, drive, even not driving. There are still cities where I think you can walk to work. But whatever it is, that's what I mean. It's like, this is your time to be yourself, to really dig in who you are. Hopefully at that point you don't have children to raise or take care of them, or you've found a way to do, like if you have pets or something, you probably enjoy it and you can spend time. That's the most wonderful thing. You have all the time in the world to be yourself. And I'm not saying it's easy, there were a lot of empty moments, but once I broke through that barrier, I think everyone, because we're programmed to be busy, 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 and once you get through that, I mean, you can just take a deep breath about life. You can sit still, have a sandwich or not, wash your hair or not. It's just, and I think you get to experiment. Whereas when you're working or, living with someone or have a family that you have to take care of, you don't have much time to experiment yourself. You're obligated to take all of those precautions, that we take all along life. And then when the work is done, we get to sit still and ask ourselves that question silently. I mean, you don't have to. You can, keep up the busy life. But for myself, I wanted to find out who I was. And then when I found, with that stillness came an exciting new life. So I have so many things to do now. I'm busier than ever, but it's fun stuff, So I could look at the things that might be hard to handle, I'll say financial, but I think that's an opportunity for you to look and see what you truly need and what you don't need. And maybe out of, I'm really $500 short every month, whatever, quote unquote, maybe you can start a little home business. I mean, I know people who left corporate positions to walk dogs and they love it. They started a whole new life. One lady I know, she would have 10 dogs at a time. She was actually making money, but that wasn't her purpose. She really developed a love for this. And so she would bring the dogs into her home. Like if somebody was going away for a week, she'd take them into her house and care for them. And they were like her pets, you know, they'd watch television together or whatever. But I think that's, again, it's one of those opportunities. If you want that extra money, think of something that you could do. You know, lots of people have created second careers that way. You know, maybe if you like to bake, you could have, you know, special customers. Once a week you deliver bread to them or something, or pies, or, you know, whatever it is. I finally got into music, and I never thought that I would love music, like love, love, love. And so, you know, almost all aspects I'm into music, so I feel like I don't have a minute to lose. It's just, so it's coming from life from a different place, you know, not have to. When you work, you have to. Every day you have to show up. And then when you get to make your own life, you can create it the way you want it. Well, another thing that's really, really important during retirement, but for me it's been my whole life, but is to stay healthy. And it's a vast subject, and I'll probably take each one separately, but I will let you know that I've been a vegan since the 60s. And right about the 80s, wheatgrass came in, and so I do wheatgrass every single day. I mean, I used to do it really intensely, and then I thought, oh my God, this is beginning to be torture. So I just cut back. You know, I did the Optimum Health Institute, where you do the week or 2 week detox completely with wheatgrass and very, very light food. But you know, it's intense, and I don't want to do that anymore. I also, I kind of really enjoy eating. If something is too hard for me, I just split it. So I was doing at one time like 4 ounces of wheatgrass a day. And that was, you know, because it detoxes almost too much. Like you kind of have to, at least me, if I'm working a full life like that before retirement, you know, I would have to stay energetic. Whereas if you're detoxing that much, you kind of have to rest, I found, in the afternoon, and then have a light dinner, and then it starts all over again at Optimum Health Institute. It's wonderful when you finish that week, but it was difficult for me to stay that clean, because I don't want to just have lettuce for the rest of my life. You know, I really do cook food. Like I have brown rice and dal or lentils or beans is a perfect protein, and so I always have that with a meal, and then I have my vegetable and maybe a small salad. It's but I make everything tasty. I mean, you can get wonderful salad dressings that are vegan. Follow Your Heart is one, and they have cheese, like I call it faux cheese. And so you can put that on your faux burgers, you know, and have like, feels like a hamburger. But so I do that, and then about 2000, like the turnover of the century, I discovered foot pads, and I think they are absolutely wonderful. And what's so great, they're detoxing foot pads, and they're the ones I get are from Japan, and I order it from the people here who get them from Japan, because if you order them from the Orient, you know, you have a 2-month wait. So I have a distributor that I get them from. They're not too expensive. I put them on every single night on the heels of my feet, And it takes one wonderful thing out of it. It takes the minerals, which is very hard to detox, like uranium and mercury. You know, I don't list them, but when I read that it takes the toxic chemicals out of your body, I was like, okay, I'm in. So I've been doing those for 24 years. So basically, and then I do a mile a day walk, and I exercise sometimes with weights. I do something every day, or I do yoga. Yoga is wonderful for keeping that slowness and that the breath. You know, they work on the breath, which is very important. In through the nose, out through the mouth, and it keeps you like just kind of pulled together. Whereas, you know, you can do this weightlifting all you want, but I found not doing yoga, I wasn't as flexible. You know, I began to notice that I kind of had two-dimensional movements in my body. And when you have yoga, you know, you're just so used to moving in a beautiful way, like the leaves on a tree. So I recommend that. And I think it's very, very important. And basically the other thing is I don't really go to a doctor. I mean, I go and have my checkups, but there's nothing wrong with me, and I don't make up stuff, you know, like, I'm, you know, what can you do for this, doctor? No, you know, maybe I just need to do yoga every day, you know, maybe not just twice a week. And so far, everything's been fine. So it's just a really holistic, organic lifestyle, pure. I mean, I don't take, I mean, very rarely, maybe once a year, I might have to take an aspirin. That's like on that level. So that's what I recommend.